What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part. I'm so excited to upload this one for you guys because for this video we're going to be taking a look at one of the most popular anime that came out this past season and probably the best anime of the year, Oshi. Holy crap, this is the first time that an anime literally blindsided me, because going into this show, I thought to myself, okay, it's an idol anime and I want to get more into that subgenre, seeing that the only idol anime that I've watched is Zenland Saga, so I figured, you know what, let's give this show a shot. Now, based on what I saw from the trailer, the premise of the story is we have a doctor who is a huge idol fan, and when he finds out that his favorite idol is staying in his hospital and is also pregnant with twins, he mysteriously dies and is reincarnated as her son. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh crap, it's an isekai. I mean, technically it is, because our main character just died and is reincarnated as his favorite idol's son, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because when she came to the hospital to see him as her doctor, he was also present in her womb as her son. That's kind of trippy. But anyway, after watching the trailer, I soon realized that episode 1 was going to be released theatrically as a full-length movie. Now, upon hearing about this, the first thing that came to mind was, holy crap, the studio must have full confidence in this series, because looking at the release schedule, we were already in the middle of Vinland Saga Season 2, and this series was going to be released around the same time as Demon Slayer and Konosuba, so a lot was stacked against it. And the second thing I realized was that episode 1 must probably be the most important episode in the series. So if you want to make a huge impact in the anime community, you need to come out the gate swinging for the fences, because if this thing flops, then this series is going to have a hard time recovering. With that being said, after watching episode 1, my initial response was, oh my god, what the hell did I just watch? What the effing hell did I just watch? What did I watch? Not gonna lie, I watched episode 1 at around 9 p.m. and by the time the movie ended, I was just in utter shock. I mean, I was literally shook. I had no idea on how to go on throughout the night. I just pretty much paced back and forth inside my room and just contemplating on what in the living hell did I just watch. I mean, this show literally blindsided me. I couldn't fall asleep until past midnight because I was so obsessed on what I just watched, and I was trying to figure out what it all meant. I was just lost. I really cannot express how shook I was after watching this movie. To go more in depth, episode 1 opens up with Dr. Goro cheering on for his favorite and probably only idol, Ai Hoshino, who is secretly pregnant with twins. Now, I say secretly because being an idol, you have to show that you are near perfection. And being pregnant at a young age is a big no-no, to where it can actually ruin your career. And that's one of the things that I really loved about this show, is how throughout the season, we not only see the glamour of living life as a celebrity, but we also see the hardships they face and sometimes the horror aspect of that life. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, going back to Ai, we really don't know who the father really is, but on the night where she's about to give birth to her twins, our doctor decides to go outside the building and just have a little bit of a walk, until he comes across a shady character who kills him off before he is reincarnated as Ai's son, Aquamarine. Oh my god, why the hell do people give kids such weird names these days? I mean, any other name would have been better, like Dave, Mike, hell, even Chris would have been better. Anyway, the moment when he is born, both he and his twin sister Ruby are fully aware that they were reincarnated as Ai's children, because as it turns out, Ruby was also a fan of Ai before she was reborn as her daughter. And so for the majority of the episode, we watch these two kids grow up secretly as Ai's children. Which is funny because at the start of the episode, it was kind of mysterious, given how we didn't know who the father was and we didn't know who the hell killed off our doctor. But then the tone suddenly shifts to a more happy, uplifting sort of tone, to where we're watching Ai raise her children and share her world and dreams with them. So at this point, I was like, wow, this show is really good, because not only are there comedic moments where we're watching these twin characters cause all kinds of trouble, but there are also very heartwarming moments as we're watching Ai and her kids be a family. And you instantly believe that they're a family despite the fact that they are reincarnated fans, and you were hooked on for the remainder of the episode. And then we reach the focal point of the series. Now, because the majority of this series revolves around this singular point, a huge spoiler warning is in effect. So if you haven't seen episode 1 until the spoiler warning is removed, mute your device right now. Anyway, while I enjoyed watching all of the little family and comedic moments throughout the movie, the story doesn't really kick off until Ai is stabbed by a crazy fan. And when that happened, I was like, oh my god, it's Selena all over again, because never once did I think that our main girl was going to be killed by the same guy who killed our doctor at the beginning of the movie. And even after you watch the initial stab, you see how just kind and pure-hearted Ai really is, because even she thinks that there's still some good in this crazy fan. Oh my god, that scene made me realize that I never want to be that kind of fan, because I've been to meet and greets and I enjoy meeting celebrities that I really like. But after watching that scene, it made me see that, holy crap, there are some crazy people out there who go to extremes. So after the guy stabs her, freaks out, and then leaves the scene, watching Ai bleed to death and see the light in her eyes just go out while she's holding her son, who is covered in her own blood, and her daughter's in the other room wondering what is going on. Holy crap, I was shocked and in tears when I saw this mother die in front of her kids. Now, to wrap up this spoiler warning, while everyone's attending the funeral, Aqua realizes that the only person who had contact with his mom was his dad, and it just so happens to line up perfectly with the time of her death, which makes him believe that his father is the real reason why Ai is dead. And in that moment, Aqua swears on vengeance, knowing that no matter how long it takes, he's gonna find out who his real father is and kill him with his own 2 hands. Damn, this show is fire! Okay, with the spoiler warning out of the way, I will say, holy crap, episode 1 is full of surprises, because by the time the episode ends, we do a little bit of a time jump where our twins are teenagers and are trying to enter the entertainment industry like their mom, and at the same time, learn about who their father really is. Also, after I watched the episode, that is when I realized no wonder this thing had to be released as a movie, because it's pretty much the prologue that sets you up for the main story. So by having their childhood story be told in a movie-length episode, you've already covered enough ground to where you understand these characters and their motives. And so for the rest of the season, we follow both Aqua and Ruby as they navigate through high school that is meant for students entering the entertainment industry. Now, going back to what I mentioned earlier, while I loved how this anime showed us the glamour life of an entertainer, it also showed us the hardships and the horrific side of this life, because throughout the season, the story shows us the different challenges that entertainers go through. One of them being age, because when it comes to being an idol, the older you get, the more oftentimes fans will see your imperfections, to the point where the studio will just drop you. And the same goes for child actors, because while some of them are able to make it in this industry as they get older, a lot of the time, the world just forgets about them. Another topic that's covered is cyberbullying, because even though social media can be used to build up your reputation, it can also be used to destroy you, given how it only takes one mean tweet to create a storm of hateful comments. And we see one character in particular go through this struggle to the point where the episode almost feels like a PSA for cyberbullying. Holy crap, this anime does not pull back any punches, because there are some moments that are too much to handle. And what's crazy is that a lot of the examples that the story uses are actual events that happen to real-life Japanese celebrities. So it's a lot to take in when you see the ugly side of being famous. But anyway, while we learn that a lot of our characters have some issues, the story never really strays away from its overall goal, where Aqua's trying to find out who his real father is and what is his connection to Ai. And I loved how throughout the season, while we watch Aqua basically infiltrate the entertainment business, at the same time we also get to watch how things operate in movies, TV, and in music. With that being said, looking back at the season, while episode 1 served as a prologue by laying down all the groundwork for our characters, the overall first season feels kind of like a first act. And I say that because throughout the season, we're watching our characters work towards a particular goal and try to get it off the ground. And by the time we build enough momentum to get things started, the season ends. So while a lot happens in season 1, the majority of it is meant to set you up for the next installment, which is where things are really going to kick off. Even though the majority of this season is basically character building, I still enjoyed it given how the overall theme is the dark side of fame. And learning about some of the hardships that celebrities go through, it's kind of scary, which is why my perception of the show did a complete 180, because initially I thought this was going to be a happy, funny show about growing up as an idol's kid. And while there is some humor to lift some weight off your shoulders, this show is not afraid to reveal its true nature. To put it in perspective, my overall introduction to this series was like being blindsided by a freight train of emotional trauma. So if you're interested in watching this series, buckle up because it's a wild ride. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review on Oshinoko. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button so you can always update from this channel. I'll see you next time in the brand new video. Bye-bye.